How you guys doing? I missed you guys. Degenerates. Let's go pull up this press conference. You know how it rolls. Usually it'll say, for example, it's exactly 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for those who are familiar or not familiar with boxing media, these shits don't be starting on time. However, hold on, let me stop talking and pull it up. However, the Aussies, they actually do a pretty good job starting on time, if we're being honest. So Tszyu, Tony Harrison, taking place, Jesus, what's the date? Is it March the 12th or the 25th? I forgot. Hold on. Network Facebook. Here we are. All right. Are they live yet? No, they are not live yet. Not yet. They're going to be starting soon. So I haven't. Oh, they just started. Perfect. We're going to talk after the press conference.
The world's eyes will be on our great state for this massive
This is live.
sporting
We're going to talk
event.
after.
Can I just say that it is totally appropriate that Tszyu, our local champion boxer, be fighting for this title right here in Sydney. We're delighted that he's going to have a home crowd cheering him on to be his absolute best. Can I just say that this is another example of the many great sporting events that we've been able to have in our city over the last 6 months. We've got the World Athletics Cross Country Championship next week. We've got the Asia Cup basketball. We've got the Women's World Cup happening in the middle of the year. This is going to be a great adornment to all the world championships that we're hosting in our great state. Last year we had the T20 cricket, the Cycling World Cup, and the Women's Basketball World Cup. So New South Wales is absolutely a premier destination. This fight is going to create great attention on New South Wales. It's going to generate tourism and economic benefit, and we're so happy to be in partnership to deliver this event. Thank you very much.
So thank you to the New South Wales Minister for Sport, Alistair Henskins. So let's get into it. So right here at Kudos Bank Arena on Sunday, March 12, undefeated, Tszyu fights former WBC world champion Tony Harrison for the interim WBO Super Welterweight world title. So there will be millions across the world tuning in through Foxtel's main event in Australia and on Showtime in the United States. So the order of events today, this morning, we'll talk to Tim. He'll join me live on stage, and then live from Detroit, we'll speak to the fast-talking American Tony Harrison. Now, this event is promoted by No Limit Boxing and PBC, so please welcome to the stage the CEO of No Limit Boxing, Georgie Rose.
So there we have it. It's going to be on Showtime.
How good is this? Now, I've been telling you all for a long time that No Limit Boxing is only here for the biggest and best fights imaginable for fight fans. And it honestly does not get any bigger than this. It's with pleasure that we announce here today, Tszyu will be returning to his hometown of Sydney to take on former world champion Tony Harrison for his very first world title on Sunday, March 12th, here at Kudos Bank Arena. You can imagine how happy Tim was when I told him, with the support of the New South Wales Government, Destinations New South Wales, we were able to secure his very first world title shot in front of his incredible hometown fans in Sydney. It's history in the making and will attract visitors from around Australia, with thousands of fans filling this very arena and millions more watching on Foxtel and KO Sports across the country and around the globe. I'd like to especially thank the New South Wales Government and Sports Minister Alistair Henskins, who joins us here this morning, for ensuring a world title super fight of this magnitude could remain here in New South Wales. This will be the most significant global fight to take place in Sydney in over 100 years. Not since Jack Johnson became the first black heavyweight back in heavyweight champion here in 1908 has there been such a fight. Yes, we've had world titles and there's been great domestic fights, but let me explain to you what this fight means. The winner of this world title will fight Jamel Charlo for the undisputed championship of the world. Now, what makes it even more significant is that Tszyu could have taken the easier path. In a day where fighters take the easiest fights, not the hard ones, Tszyu is built different. He's a throwback to when the best fought the best. When the injury to Charlo forced his undisputed world title shot back 6 months, he could have done two things. He could have waited the 6 months. He could have taken an easier fight. Instead, he's chosen the option that none in the world would take, to fight the hardest fight in this division, Tony Harrison, the only guy to beat undisputed champion Jamel Charlo. That's right, he's the man that beat the man. Tszyu is the superstar of Australian boxing. He's left no stone unturned in his training camp. Fighting's in his blood. He was born to do this, and he will become a world champion. The other side, Tony Harrison, will bring his very best and embrace what I expect to be a rough and hostile day down under for him. But they do breed him tough in Detroit, so I've got no doubt he'll be prepared for this fight. As always, we've put together a fantastic undercard. It's going to be stacked to the eyeballs. We've got three of our stars here today who will be on our undercard: Nikita Tszyu, Sam Goodman, and Paulo Acuso. All three in extremely hard fights in what will make for a very entertaining night of action. Nikita Tszyu will fight Bo Belbin, Sam Goodman versus TJ Doheny, and Paulo Acuso versus Yuneski Gonzalez.
Hey, that's a good
Three
fight.
extremely hard fights, but three very entertaining fighters. We know what they bring to the card, and they will make this a very entertaining night. Sydney is not going to know what hit it when the first bell rings on Sunday, March 12th, or Saturday, March 11th, prime time in the USA. Do not miss history. Do not miss Tszyu's first world title. Pre-register on nolimitboxing.com.au. Tickets go on sale this Friday. This is the big one. This is how we do it at No Limit Boxing. We love to entertain you. Jump on and lock away your tickets, and let's enjoy a great show.
Thank you, Georgie. All right, well, it's time to introduce the fighters. And this is Tszyu versus Harrison, and it's coming to you right here on Foxtel's Main Event. Well, there you go. So first of all, let's please welcome live from Detroit, former world champion, Tony Superbad Harrison.
Y'all think you gonna cuss? Well, I don't know who
And
motherfucker
live here-
Tszyu is.
The #1 challenger for the WBO and WBC world titles, the undefeated Tszyu.
Tony Harrison gonna tear Tszyu ass up.
So welcome, Tim. Firstly, we'll start with you, Timmy. It's been a really tumultuous few months for you. Right now, you would have expected to be the undisputed world champion. How did you cope that was that whirlwind that went down in Las Vegas?
Look, it's in reality, it's just a small little roadblock. I stayed focused, stayed in the gym, stayed with my team, and just kept the grind going. You know, the goal never stops. Every day you got to wake up and have something to fight for, and it just never stopped for me.
And that disappointment, obviously there was some sort of level of disappointment when you hear that's off. How long did it take for you to get over that? Like you said, this is not uncommon in boxing. It happens quite often. Was it immediate?
Look, the next day I thought, you know what, this is part of boxing. This stuff happens. The main thing is focus never changed. You know, and they were trying to find opponents, and whatever the promoters, managers were doing, I just remained focused, completely in my own zone, and I'm glad this fight got made.
Well, the last time you were here in this arena, you defeated Takeshi Inoue, and that was your last fight in Australia. How excited are you about returning to this arena in fighting in what's going to be a very, very parochial crowd?
Yeah, just coming in first today, just looking around, it brings back definitely some good memories. And you know, just looking at the poster and the magnitude of this event, it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and I'm very gracious that I got a big opponent in front of me, a name I need in my career.
And like George said, like this is seen as a big risk. I mean, you were well within your rights to wait until Charlo's hand healed. You haven't done that, which is an anomaly. You know, boxing is littered with champions sidestepping each other until one's perhaps over the hill, or suits better for the A side than the B side. You haven't done that, and you're fighting the only man in history who's beaten Jermell Charlo. I know George alluded to it, but in your words, why?
To be the man, you got to do that, you know. And I've came into this sport not to just muck around, but to really take over.
Well, look, Tony's loves talking. We've heard some of that, and he's already had some pretty frank words about you. He's called you basic, nothing special, like someone he'd seen in the park. What's your reaction to those comments? Is he underestimating you?
Oh, for sure. I've been in the ring, and a lot of people say a lot of things. It wouldn't be the first time someone said the same thing that he said. But when they get in the ring, it's a dogfight in there. So talk is cheaper. Actions speak louder than words. So my main focus is to focus when the fight gets on.
All right, well, so we've heard from Timmy. Now, Tony, firstly, can you react to what you've heard Tim just say? Your reactions.
I like
Tony
Timmy.
Harrison is hilarious, by the way.
I like him. I like Timmy. I like Timmy a lot, actually. So, you know, hey, Timmy, are we gonna be friends like this whole little press conference thing? Cause it's like, please let me know, man, cause I just want to be friends. You know what I mean? But I really do like Timmy. I like Timmy. I like the people around him. I like his management. I like everything, man. I like that. He definitely could have took an easier fight, which he was already lined up with an easier fight. I don't know why they're making it seem like he didn't have an easier fight in front of him. But, you know, for him to say yes to a guy like me, man, he woke me up out of the dead, man. So this is me hugging you, Tim.
So, Tony,
I'm hugging you, man, because you
I'll be punching
you brought me
back.
you brought me back to life, Tim. And no, I'm hugging you right now. This is not the time to fight.
So look, Tony, you are a former world champion. You're the only man. You're the only man to have beaten Jermell Charlo. Do you think? Obviously, you're very appreciative of Tim taking this fight, but do you think he's made a mistake, or is he crazy for taking this fight?
Of course. I think we need to get management on the phone. I think we need to talk to management, because, like, for him to be at the doorstep for all the marbles, and you accept the fight with the only man to beat the man that you looking to beat, I think we need to talk to management about this one, man. We need to go to HR. Well, we're HR. I need to call HR, because something ain't right about this one. You know what I mean? Something ain't right, but listen to me. I'm not mad about it, because I'm on the other end of the stick, right? So I'm not mad about it, but the only man I'm chasing is the only man he's chasing, right? So I think we got something in common. He chasing the same man I'm chasing, right?
And to that point,
the only way for me to get there, though, is to fight Timmy.
And this is, we've said, is a risk for Tim. He'll call it a calculated risk, but it's also, as you've just alluded to, a huge opportunity for you. Tim is undefeated, and he did earn that undisputed world title shot, and there's some real hype on his name around the world.
I ain't gonna say all that.
Okay. Well, talk us what this fight means for your career.
I ain't gonna say all that.
What does this mean for your career?
It's everything for me, man. It's like the same thing he chasing, the same thing I'm chasing. The same man that he looking for is the same man I've been looking for, man. What's crazy is he got his blinders up trying to get to me when I'm trying to get to him, right? He don't got his blinders up for Tim. You know what I mean? So for me, man, I swear, man, like me, I'm really hugging Tim, because without Tim, it was no other possible way I probably would have ever got the opportunity to get back to the fight that I want. So for Tim to take this fight in Australia, and for me to go to Australia, man, listen to me, Tim, I want to be friends. I just want to be friends, Tim. I want you to show me around. Everything. I just want to be friends, man.
Oh,
I just want to be friends. You a legend, man. You a legend in Australia. I want to be friends.
All right, Tony, you haven't fought outside the USA in more than a decade. And is there anything that's daunting for you to come thousands of miles across the Pacific to fight here in a crowd that's going to be heavily behind Tim? Are you daunted by that?
What are you doing, mate?
Nah, I'm from Detroit, right? So you saying daunting, like I don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of enlighten me a little bit, like talk to me a little bit about that.
All right, so we've heard from both fighters. Timmy, have you got any reaction? He's obviously being very congenial here.
Yeah.
Have you got any reactions to,
Well,
to
look,
Tony's words?
No kisses and hugs from me
I wasn't done.
on my side. But
Maniac?
yeah,
Pervert?
good luck, bro, and I'll see you in Sydney.
All right, I'm going to open up to the media now to ask any questions of both Tony and also Tim.
Cody Kay from Fox Sports News. Timmy, I know that you've wanted to prove to everybody that you belong on this stage and at this level for many, many years now. How important is it to you personally now that it's right there to make sure that here in front of your home crowd, in front of a guy that seems to look past you, that you prove that you are the guy?
Yeah, this is the name that I need. This is the name that 21 fights into my resume. This is the one that I need to wake all those boys up.
Tony, you've already proven that you belong at the elite level, that you can beat the best fighters. When you look at Tim, and it seems like Charlo was the same, you both seem to look past him. What is it about him that you think makes him not belong here yet?
Well, I don't look past nobody that know how to fight, man. I'm definitely not knocking. Like I'm in. Like I told everybody, man, I'm in a real fight, right? Anybody that steps around, I'm in a real fight. So I'm definitely not knocking Tim's ability to come in and fight. You know what I mean? I'm in a real fight, but I think the money behind him, the name behind him. I mean, it's so many people that I can put in front of Tim to say they need a title shot at Jermell Charlo than Tim Tszyu. Tim, to me, just hasn't accomplished or fought anybody or done anything. You know what I mean? So they just really just put the money up and put him right there. You know what I mean? But he's definitely a tough fighter. I'm not knocking him being tough, but my thing is when you look at my role and the things I had to do and the things that I and the obstacles I had to jump over. I mean, he took the elevator. I took the stairs. So I'm just like, how did he get there? You know what I mean? Somebody just make it make sense to me. How did he get there?
Ooh.
Well, I think from an Australian perspective, he cleaned out his own backyard. And obviously, when you come up against a young, hungry champion, that's a risk in itself. For you,
He ain't fighting Mick
you may
Zarafa.
not get
How about
another shot at fighting for all these belts again. So there's a lot on the line for both of you.
I agree. I totally agree. But, you know, for me, I'm just like, he beat everybody in his backyard. You know how big his backyard is? I don't know if y'all can see me right now. Can y'all see me? This is how big his backyard is. You know how big the backyard that I'm fighting in is?
Somebody next to me just said it's bigger than Detroit.
Difference, right? So it's still, it is, but I'm talking about the United States. I didn't beat everybody in Detroit. I got there by fighting the guys in the United States, not Detroit. Don't get it twisted now.
Tim, you must love hearing
the
this.
pool of talent from Detroit and Australia, come on now. Come on now, y'all. Come on now, y'all.
That's how
I'm
they
just
are.
real, man.
Yeah,
I'm just real. See, I'm not talking, man. See,
Australia's a bunch of desert
man.
anyway.
See, I'm not even jiving. I'm just being real. I'm just not jiving. I'm just being real with you, Tim. I'm just saying, like, the pool of fighters from Australia and the pool of fighters from the United States, the pool is different, man. You know that.
Yeah, and look,
You know
I
that, man. Be
completely
real,
agree
man.
to
You
that.
come over here to get the work, man. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not jiving nobody. I'm not talking shit.
He about to start cussing.
I'm
Oh,
just
he
really
cussed.
being real with it. I'm being honest.
We've got another question? Yep.
Jamie Pandaran from the Daily Telegraph. Tony, you've spoken about not being impressed with his skill level. What in particular do you think he falls short in skill?
I mean, to be honest, like, what part of skill that you're impressed with? To be honest, like that's my kind of thing. Like Tim is a tough guy, man. He's tough, right? So I don't take nothing away from Tim being tough. But skill, I like what part of when we talk about skill, like. I mean, what y'all look at and what I look at probably just is two different things, you know what I mean? But Tim is literally top of the line. When you say top of the food chain when it comes to toughness, Tim is up there.
Tim, do you feel as though you are going to expose his belief that you'll fall short in the skill department and the experience department in this fight?
Oh, look, boxing is not just about skills. There's a lot more involved. You know, it's an all-rounded game, and
I agree.
He might think I'm lacking skills, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not here for a debating contest to say how good my skills are or how bad my skills are. I just got to show it. It's quite simple.
So, one more question. Yep.
Bingo.
Adrian Prozenko from the Sydney Morning Herald. Tony, we all expected that the Tszyu Chavo fight was going to go ahead recently. If that had gone ahead, who would have won?
Charlo, easy. Charlo, easy. I just think the preparation for Charlo was just, it was set up. Like, it was set up almost kind of like it was set up for Tim to almost be successful, not to be successful, but, you know, just like the matchup with Tim and Terrell, you know, it was just like, it was fan-friendly. That matchup was just fan-friendly. But for Charlo to be coming off fighting Castano twice in a row, Tim has the exact similar style of Castano. They both come forward, they both tough, they both aggressive, they both throw tons of punches. They both line up real, like on a height scale, the same, reach scale is damn near the same. So I just thought Charlo had already fought Castano twice, and he would have been fighting Castano a third time. So I just thought Charlo would have won easy.
Tim, your reaction to that?
Well, in me and Castano are completely different. He's much smaller, first of all, skill-wise and ability. We're completely different. And in terms of the Charlo Castano fight, I think Castano won the first fight. So, look, I can't really say. I got not much to say, man. I'm a man of few words. I'll let Harrison do the talking.
All right, before we wrap it up here, we got final comments from you, Tony, before we leave you. Any final thoughts before you come to Australia to fight Tszyu?
Like I said, I want to tell Tim, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for waking the dead up, man. I can't remember the last time I've been this motivated, man. This motivated to take a fight, this motivated to train, this motivated to run, this motivated to shadow box, hit the bag. Like, I'm not leaving no stone unturned fighting Tim. You know what I mean? So he think I'm taking him lightly, or he think I'm jumping ship. Like, I'm training harder than I was for any Charlo fight that I'm trying as I'm training right now. So just telling Tim that if he was expecting to fight anybody else, that's cool. Be motivated though. Like, be motivated because I'm motivated. You know what I mean? And when I'm motivated, I'm a bad man. So I just need him to be motivated. And I promised the man before I passed that I was gonna get some stuff back. And I wasn't gonna go back to the same person that I was 5 years ago. But for Tim, March 12th, I'm gonna make an exception.
Tim, final thoughts, mate?
Yeah, just saying, good that he's motivated and that he's feeling good. Make sure that there's no excuses come 12th of March.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank Tony Harrison from Detroit. Thank you, mate. And also Tim Tszyu. Thank you. So, Sunday, March 12th, here live on pay-per-view in Australia on Main Event, in America available on Showtime. Ringside floor seats and hospitality pre-sale begins at 3 p.m. today. So go to nolimitboxing.com.au to sign up for instant access to tickets. All other tickets available through pre-sale on Friday at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to the general public. So go to nolimitboxing.com.au to sign up for access. So look, thank you all for joining us for what's going to be a monumental fight on Sunday, March 12. So it's goodbye from us here in Sydney. On Fox Sports, I'm Matt Nable. We will see you on Sunday, March 12 for one of the biggest fights of the year.
All right, let's talk a little bit. We're gonna get my colleague from Australia, Big J, on the line, and we are going to talk about the fight. So listen, it's going to be on March the 12th. It's going to be a midday card in Australia, but over here in the States, it's going to be a regular Showtime event. So it's going to be regular, like Showtime events here in the States start at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. or so. So we're going to be able to see it. I'm picking Tony Harrison. Tim Tszyu is too green. And let me tell you something. Shout out to Noonan Boy Promotions. But let me tell you, what the hell is that? That fucking... I've been covering Tim Tszyu for 2+ years now. Shout out to Big J. He's going to be calling in soon. Like, I'm not no casual when it comes to Tim Tszyu. I was there in the Barclays Center. I was there at Charlo versus Harrison 1. And it was Jamel Charlo versus Tony Harrison 1. And it was Jamal Charlo versus Matvey Korobov. I was there in the arena. So even though I do admit I haven't been to a boxing event in well over 2 years, but I'm not a motherfucking casual. I apologize for cussing, but I'm not a casual. So what I'm telling to you is this. I've covered on YouTube. In fact, this is not toot my own horn. This is not jerking my own pipe. Kind of is. Me and Big J have the number one viewed post-fight videos on Tim Tszyu. So when it comes to Tim Tszyu on YouTube, you got to go through me, baby. You got to. So what I'm saying is, I be up like early as shit. Because if you're hardcore, degenerate fan like me in the United States, you got to be up 4 o'clock in the morning on a motherfucking Wednesday to cover Tim Tszyu fights. I put that work in. I paid my dues. And I've seen enough of Tim Tszyu to be like, yo, I'm not picking him to beat Tony Harrison. I'm not doing it. I'm not picking Tim Tszyu to beat Tony Harrison. Tim Tszyu, we're going to pull up his resume in a minute. He's got a nice skill set, but it's kind of all smoke and mirrors. Ain't nothing really there for me to be like, yo, I'm going to like pick Tim Tszyu. Nope. I'm not there yet. And that's my right. Is that not my right to be like, yo, I don't see it. Let me pull up his resume. We're going to go to BoxRec. Hold on. Tim Tszyu. Like, I don't see it, bros. 21-0 with 15 KOs. Terrell Goucher. Ew. You want me to tell you a story? I was in the Barclays Center. Like, at one point in time, I was going to a lot of fights. I'm talking about I was deep, like balls deep into like boxing media. I was going to a lot of fights. Like, I was at Terrell Goucher versus Iris Lara versus Terrell Goucher. By the way, did I tell you about the time I got kicked out of the MGM Grand? That's for another day. Like, I was escorted off of the premises. Like, they kicked me the fuck out. I was at Wolfgang Puck's. But that's for a different day. But anyway, I was at Terrell Goucher versus Iris Lara. So when they announced Tim Tszyu versus Terrell Goucher, people were like, oh, that's a motherfucking good fight. I was like, yo, no disrespect to Terrell Goucher. And my name is Terrell. In fact, let me show you some shit. Let me show you some shit. Look. That's me.
Your name Terrell too?
Yeah. So what's up? First, let's tell us how to pronounce your last name.
It's pronounced Goucher.
Goucher.
Yeah.
All right, because people were slaughtering me to my some is Gouchard.
No, it's Goucher.
All right, cool. All right, so you're fighting a big fight, against Iris Lara. You're headlining a Showtime card. In fact, it's the first Showtime card after Mayweather McGregor, so it's a big one. So tell us how you got here so far.
I got here just by hard work, man. Just beating everybody they put in front of me. Just continue, you know.
But anyway, you don't have to watch the interview. The point I'm trying to make is I was in the trenches. Like, I was like traveling out there, spending $120 one way, like to go on Amtrak. The point I'm trying to make is, for those who don't know, y'all see me doing like my videos and doing old nerd shit and everything. Like, I was really doing like my media thing, you know, like out there. So when he fought Terrell Gausha, who was the most accomplished, well, Jeff Horn, at that point in time, they tried to make it seem like he was the most experienced. But I was like, yo, Tszyu gonna beat Terrell Gausha. But I'm like, yo, looking at it, like, for example, let's look at his resume. Terrell Gausha, boom. Takashi Inoue, no, he's not related to Naoya, no. Steve Spark was just moving up. Dennis Hogan, long in the tooth, layoff. Bowen Morgan, blown up welterweight. Jeff Horn was sick as shit. So this resume is a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like a lot of smoke and mirrors. So by far, the Tony Harrison fight is the biggest fight of his career. And I think, and Australian fans, hear me out. I know Tszyu's your guy. I get it. But hear me out. Can I cuss? Can I cuss a little bit? I think that Tony Harrison is going to put Tszyu's dick into the dirt. It's going to be in the dirt, like, you know, all gravelly. I do not think that Tszyu can beat Tony Harrison. But if he proves me wrong, I'm going to be like, all right, good shit, mate. Good shit, not mucking about. So what we going to do is I want to hear what Big J has to say, because Big J has been known, by the way, Big J is from Australia, Fight View 360 colleague. He's been to Camboso's 1, Camboso's 2, Mick Zarafa's fights. You know, he is Australian boxing, period. So what are the questions that you have? So we're about to get Big J on the line. So in the comments and in the chat, what questions do you have before I get him on the horn? I think Tony Harris is going to fuck him up. No, Joe, see, I already knew. See, Joe, where are you from, Joe? You from Australia? Be honest. Be honest. T, I got 50 on Tszyu. I don't gamble. Gamble is for sinners. I'm a man of Jesus. I don't gamble. I'm not doing that. Gamble is for sinners. I'm not gambling. But I want to know, where you from, Joe? You told us before in one of the video comments, but where you from, Joe? Be honest. Are you an Aussie, Joe? Are you from the Oceanic area? Be honest. Because of course you're going to pick Tszyu. Tszyu by 5th round KO. Huh? And remember, I'm going to be here. So it's going to be a Saturday night fight regular. This is Big J. Let's see what he got to say. Let's see what he got to
say. Excuse me, have you watched
all right, Big J, we're live.
Recent fights?
Hey, yeah, man. Some of his recent
We're live.
fights wasn't so much to watch.
Sweet. Good.
So?
Well, that was an interesting press conference, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it was short and sweet. That's the best way I can put it.
And what's Harrison doing all this I want to hug Tszyu bullshit? Tszyu's going to gut punch the bloody daylights out of it.
I think it's because of the payday. I think he's like happy, like, you know what, thank you for welcoming me to your country. You know, I'm coming over for the payday. That's what I think it is.
Well, Tim's going to welcome him with a few shots in the guts, that's for sure.
Listen. So I'm being very honest. I think that Tony Harrison is going to fuck Tim Tszyu up. Also, let me be TstreeT conspiracy. Now, I believe that Tony Harrison is being sent over to Australia to dispatch and beat Tim Tszyu up to make way for Charlo versus Harrison 3 because it's a bigger fight. And Tim Tszyu, he fell for the bait. Tony Harrison going to fuck him up. I like Tim Tszyu, and I've been picking him, but I don't think he's going to do it this time. I think that he should have waited for Charlo, and he fucked up his shot, and now Tony Harrison is going to put his dick into the dirt.
Nah, Timmy will gut punch the shit out of him. Gut punch the shit out of him. Gut punch the shit out of him. Tim's done all the preparation over in Thailand and hitting tyres and all this sort of stuff and high humidity training. Yeah. I think this is Tim's turn. I think this is Tim's turn to cement his place as a real contender in world boxing. So
I have a question. Put your management hat on. Would you have advised Tim Tszyu to be like, okay, stay busy, fight, take Tony Harrison? Or would you have advised him to take a lower or a lesser opponent?
Oh, I would have advised him to take a lesser opponent, no doubt. You don't go throwing
another question. Well, before, to piggyback off of that, would you have advised him to wait for Charlo or a stay busy fight? So you're cool with him taking a stay busy fight?
Yeah, definitely, because he's been out of the ring too long. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, when's the last time he fought? It's going to be almost a year of inactivity.
March 26th, it would be a year. He fought
almost a year.
March 26th.
Terrell Goucher, yeah. He's got to stay active. Active fighters are dangerous fighters. So, yeah, no, I don't, as I said in our previous thing about this, I don't have a problem with him taking on Harrison because he needs Harrison for the respectability of his resume.
Yeah, he's 21-0, 15 KOs. His last 5 fights were Terrell Goucher, Takashi Inoue, Steve Spark, Dennis Hogan, and Bowen Morgan. That's not enough. I'm sorry. I've seen enough of Tony Harrison. And Tony Harrison is a full-time boxing trainer now of the now undisputed 130-pound champion Alicia Baumgartner. So therefore, his boxing IQ, in my opinion, is going to be higher. I don't think that Tim Tszyu can do anything with him. I won't be surprised if Tim Tszyu gets knocked out. I won't be surprised. He got dropped by Terrell Goucher.
Yeah, but the flash knockdowns happen. He was up by the count of 2.
But at the end of the day, he still got
dropped.
I get that, flash knockdowns, but he still got dropped. Put it this way, I've been an advocate of Tim Tszyu for example, what was the first, do you remember? I can't remember. What was the first Tim Tszyu fight we covered? It wasn't Jack Brubaker, so it had to be Jeff Horn, right?
No, it was Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn was the first one. So we've
covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Tim Tszyu fights. And I haven't seen enough. And all of those fights, I've seen that I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen it.
Well, Tim Tszyu's never really been tested because all those opponents were mid-card guys. Now he's stepping up to the front. And think about it. We expected Jeff Horn to knock his head off inside of 6 rounds. What happened? He destroyed Jeff Horn.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he destroyed Dennis Hogan inside of 5 rounds. He belted the shit out of poor old Bowen Morgan, who probably shouldn't have been in there anyway.
Blown up welterweight, as you talked about. These are your words.
I mean, he wasn't blown up well, but every fight he's had, he's shone. He took that flash knockdown from Terrell Goucher, got up and dominated the rest of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Navarrete got knocked on his ass the other day. He still knocked out Liam Wilson.
However, well, since we're on that topic, before we go back to Tim Tszyu, I feel that the reason why Navarrete almost got stopped or knocked out and had the performance that he had is because he didn't take Liam Wilson seriously. And then when he snapped back into things, almost like Miras Breedis versus Jai Opataya. Like, remember, like, when he was losing, he snapped into it. And then he broke Opataya's jaw on both sides. So I don't know.
True.
Like, we haven't seen anything from Tim Tszyu, you know, at least from my standpoint, to be like, yo, like, I don't think he can fuck with Tony Harrison. I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, I think Tony Harrison's on to decline. I think, even though he said that he's awake and he's back and thing that, I think while he's on the way down, Tim's on the way up. They're going to meet in the middle, and I think Timmy will get him. So, gut punches will be Tim's success.
Yeah, well, you know, the Charlo fight, the second one, definitely, you know, it showed that Tony can be vulnerable to the body. But how did you view the press conference, though? It was short and sweet, but did you think enough was done? You know, for example, I don't know if it's mind games, but Tony seems to respect him to an extent.
Yeah, that's got to be veteran mind games. I mean,
I
think he generally is. I think he generally is happy that he's got himself resurgence.
It's pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's pay-per-view payday, and the winner gets Charlo, so he's got to be extremely happy with that. But, you know, he's a veteran. He's just throwing out the mind games. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to try to do his best to belt Timmy, and he's going to run into a gut punch that will put him on the canvas.
No, I don't see. I mean, you know what's crazy is that even as I'm reading the comments, you know, you've been a known, like, I'm going to say Tim Tszyu detractor, but you feel that Tim Tszyu can beat this former world champion in Tony Harrison.
I've got a gut feeling that Tim's going to blast his guts away.
So you feel it's going to be body?
Turn him into Jason Rosario.
You feel it's going to be body?
Yeah, Tim's strongest suit is his body work. We all know this, right? He's going to do the same thing to Harrison as what Charlo did to Jason Rosario. Just destroy his guts, turn him into a jelly belly.
Or will it be a KO?
Ooh, maybe a late KO, maybe like 11th round body shot.
Oh, that's controversial. That's hot. That's too hot. That's too cold to hold and too hot to touch. So you think it's going to be a stoppage?
I reckon he'll drop him to the guts and Tony will get up, and I reckon he's going to drop him to the guts at least once in the fight.
The saying goes,
he's going to put like
too hot to hold. What was it? Too cold. How's it go? Too hot to hold and
too hot to handle. Too hot to handle.
Too cold to hold.
Well, you remember, Tony's travelling all the way to Australia. That's a long fucking trip.
That is
right?
true.
Anyone will tell you that.
That is true.
Yeah. That's a long trip. Then he's going to come in and do a camp. He's going to be in a hostile crowd where it's in Sydney, right? And we'll get to this. Is I still can't figure. I think No Limit has got such confidence in themselves to sell this out that they're breaking the number one rule in boxing. What's the number one rule in boxing in Australia? You know this.
Well, I can't think of the top of my head. I apologize.
Don't fuck with the football.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're going directly up against not one but two games of NRL that day.
Mm-hmm.
So how much confidence have they got they're going to sell that arena out going up against not one?
Remember, this
but two games of footy.
So basically, it's pay-per-view over there for you guys. It's going to be $59.95 on main event pay-per-view in Australia and in the Oceanic area. But explain to the American fans, because they don't know. I'm telling you, they don't know what the significance is when it comes to football over there and how that's going to affect the viewership of the fight.
Well, it's like having a boxing match up against the NFL. If you remember correctly, wasn't George and Lopez going to go up against an NFL fight in June last year? Or was it the year before? They got chased off?
No. I forgot what it was. It might have been the NBA playoffs or the championship, but no,
something like
not
that.
in June, nowhere. No.
No, not in June. Well, anyway, in Australia, the two football codes, the AFL, which is predominantly played in Victoria, and the NRL, which is Queensland, New South Wales, Sydney, Brisbane, are the biggest codes in winter. They dominate everything. When the football season is on, you don't go up against the football games because no one will show up. That's why in Australia, fights are on Wednesday nights because it's the mundane rule because he created it. He was smart enough to know that, I'm not going to go up against the footy on a Friday and Saturday night. No one will watch it. Go to Wednesday. where there's no competition from the football. They've got some confidence because Melbourne's free. AFL doesn't start until the Thursday, the 16th. So Melbourne arenas will be free, and the Gold Coast will be free because the Gold Coast is playing in Sydney. So they're going up against not one,
the
but
point I'm
two
trying to make
games.
is American fans don't understand none of that shit. I barely understand it. So basically what you're saying is that it's going to be on a Sunday, and it's a big sports day. So let me try to translate it to American fans. It's like putting a boxing event on
up against an NFL game.
Against an NFL game on Sundays here in the States. Sundays belong to football here in the States. So putting a boxing match on, you know, it's a conflict of interest, basically.
Well, it's a gutsy move. It's a gut because how much is that Kudos Arena hold? 12,000, 12,500, something like that.
Yeah, it's the yeah, we did. We looked that up before. It's the Kudos Arena. Hold on.
QUDOS.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. What city? I'm just gonna put Australia.
Sydney.
Come up. All right, there we are.
It's in Sydney.
Kudos Bank Arena. Seats 21,000.
That's more than I thought it did. I thought it was like 12.
No, it's 21,000. And I'm guessing, you know, especially if it's going to be floor seating, probably that can be increased to maybe 22 or to 24, I'm guessing.
It depends on how big the floor is. So
yeah. But either
if it's
way,
like
but that's going to be on a Sunday. So it's going to be prime time here for us in the States on Showtime. So let me explain to the people who are watching. For American fans and in the States, Tszyu versus Harrison is going to be a regular Showtime event. It's going to be Sunday afternoon in the Australian oceanic territories like New Zealand. But over here in the States, the card is going to start about 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or so. And what is good for a main event and No Limit Boxing is that they're going to get exposure for guys like Nikita Tszyu and Sam Goodman. Who's the third big name that's going to be on there as well? Do you remember?
Paulie Augusto. He's the light heavyweight bloke.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Sam Goodman, he's getting up there. I think if he's not world ranked in top 15, he's very close to it in super bantamweight. So I think Nikita's fighting for the Australian superweight title, super welterweight title, sorry. And Paul Augusto is fighting, I think he's fighting a Mexican guy, isn't it?
Okay, so let me read some comments to you, and I want your thoughts on it. So Howard Stacks Johnson, he's been a long time moderator of the channel. He says, now listen to this. He says, this motherfucker never liked Tips. He said, this motherfucker never liked Tszyu. Now he picking him. Home cooking coming. Tony has to KO Tszyu to win. Your thoughts?
Tony has to KO Tszyu to win. Yeah, well, that's probably pretty accurate. So, and get fucked. Who said I never liked Tim Tszyu? I was just critical of his resume. There's a difference between not liking someone and being critical of what they're doing. So, when did I ever say I never liked Tim Tszyu? Oh, of course I want Tim Tszyu to win. He's the bloody Aussie. I want to get him there and bloody crack Harrison's teeth out. So, of course I'm going to back Tszyu.
Another comment from For Honor. Tim's cardio is his best asset along with the body work. The pace and pressure will wear Harrison out. I agree with an 11-round stoppage.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair because remember, Tim Tszyu, when he spars 4-minute rounds, not 3. So we've seen enough fights that every fight, does he look tired after any fight? No, he looks like he's barely warmed up. So he's extremely fit. His conditioning, what old mate said there, that's extremely on point. His conditioning and his pressure will be too overwhelmed for Harrison, and he'll just gut punch him in the 11th if he doesn't gut punch him beforehand. So that's fair.
Mad Dog 8 says Harrison will box good till he gets caught with something, just like all of his losses. And that's actually what has happened to Harrison. All of his losses, he'll be doing very good, and then he gets caught. He was up on the cards for the Charlo Harrison 2 fight.
Charlo rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was. He was. Well, I mean, you just have to wait and see. I mean, it's hard to give predictions. I mean, we got a fair idea of what's going on, but that's a fair comment. He'll probably do well until he gets caught with something. So, yeah, you go. That's a fair comment.
Hawker says, Tszyu the fight. Like, this is a tough fight.
No, he didn't.
Like, he already, like, the mandatory shot, he could have waited out and just waited for Charlie.
He could have.
But he took this fight.
And he could have had a bullshit stay busy fight too.
Very.
So,
This is a very tough fight for him to take.
Exactly. I mean, you've got to you've got to commend him because he hasn't run, he hasn't ducked anyone, he hasn't picked off some poor blown up welterweight.
Yeah,
He's
as you called him the
best
vulture
bloke.
in the past.
Yeah. In the past, yeah. But you've got to build your resume up somehow.
Yeah, but I didn't think like this caught me like off guard because I didn't think he was going to take this fight. Like that's a big scrotum on Tszyu. That's a big that's some big balls right there, man. Because he already had his shot.
This was supposed to happen 18 months ago, so
I remember that. This fight has been cooking for a while.
So no surprise. No surprise. And I think that the American fans are going to be in for a little. Well, they're going to be pissed at me, but oh well. They're going to be in for a shock. This fight will have an outcome that I don't think anyone's going to pick. So, fuck. I hope it's not a draw. I'll fuck everything up.
So, do you feel
probably cursed it now
that this was a smart decision by Tszyu?
Calculated risk. Because at the end of the day,
put your management hat on. If you were the manager, do you feel?
No, I wouldn't advise. No, if I was his manager, I'd be like, yeah, don't take this fight.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, he could have went off and had a nothing stay busy fight against some blown up welterweight or some low level bloke. But at the end of the day, it's calculated risk. I mean, you can see that since the Charlo rematch, Harrison hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
So he had that bullshit draw with old mate. Yeah, he looked all right against Sergio Garcia, but he hasn't fought in a year. And it seems like he's on the decline while Tim just continues to move up the hill. So they're going to meet in the middle. So that's what I think.
Yeah, he had
Tony
no
Harrison's
fights in
coming down the hill.
2020.
Tim's
One
moving
fight
up.
in 2021. That was the split draw against Brad Perella. One fight in 2022, and now he's fighting Tszyu.
Remember, he's 32. It's a lot harder to get back into shape at 32 than what it is getting into shape at 28, 27. How old Tim is? How old is Tim? 27, 28.
No, hold on. Let me make sure I confirm it. Tszyu is 28.
He's in the thick of his prime. Okay, yeah. He's in the thick of his prime. He's in the thick of his prime. Where Harrison's at the art, he's on the back nine. Where Tszyu's in the thick of it. He's on like hole 4. Harrison's on like hole 15. So I don't know why I used a golfing analogy. It just sounded smart.
So let's get it here right now on the record. You got Tszyu beating Tony Harrison.
I got Tszyu by a gut punch. By a gut punch.
That's going to be big if it happens. Tony Harrison is a former world champion.
Tszyu by a gut punch. Without a doubt. That's the way he wins most of his fights.
Let me read this comment. This is called, he's a longtime subscriber. He's been on the channel for like years, like damn near fucking a decade. The Hand History Boxing Vault. He says, why are both of you saying Tim shouldn't have taken the fight? ? Isn't this what we boxing fans want? Boxers challenging themselves. No, yes, we want it. But, and I'm not saying I didn't want him to take the fight, to clarify. I'm saying, we don't see this happening. So, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's a big risk. I mean, there's a lot of easier fights out there that he could have taken. But, as he said, to be the man, like the old Ric Flair saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah.
And Tim needs to beat the man. I mean, if he beats Harrison, bang, he's cemented his place. He's ready for Charlo. All right? It's as simple as that. And
go ahead.
And we're in a day and age of where Crawford and Spence have been dancing around each other like school children for the last God knows how fucking long.
That shit almost made me quit boxing. It almost made me quit.
Yeah. Then you've got Mayweather and Pacquiao took a fucking decade to get done, and that was the disappointment of the century, not the fight of the century. Yeah. So, fuck it. Sometimes you just got to say, well, I'm a boxer. I need to fight. Bugger it. Bugger fighting some nobody. Get in there and smack the best guy out and cement your place. You can't, you know.
Final question from somebody in the chat. Joe Mama says, as Big J, is there a chance that Charlo Zoo will happen in Australia?
If Al, what's his name?
Al Heyman.
What's the Al Heyman? I always said Al Harrington for some reason. Al Heyman swallows his pride and brings it to Australia. They'll get a sellout, easy. But I don't know if he's ready to.
Kambosos Haney 1 sellout, 42,000, 60,000, or what?
No, it was 42. It wasn't a sellout.
No, I know, but I'm saying that. Do you feel, that it could, do more than Kambosos Haney 1?
Yeah, because Tim's been around longer than Kambosos, and it's an undisputed fight. So why the hell not? Of course it could.
I feel it's a Vegas fight.
Why the hell not?
Like, that's a Vegas fight.
Yeah. It is a Vegas fight, but why have 9,000 in Vegas when you can have 55,000 in Australia?
Yeah, but logistically, I just feel it's going to be a Vegas fight. Especially for Al Heyman's cash cow and Charlo, he's not going to send him overseas for undisputed. I don't see it happening. My personal opinion.
But we got Horn Pacquiao. Look how well that did.
Yeah. And that wasn't, but it was expected for Pacquiao to roll over Jeff Horn, and it didn't happen.
Jeff Horn.
So, all right. Closing
question. Gut punch by Tim. Gut punch victory by Tim. I say in the 11th round, I'm going to go on record to say, well, obviously I am on record. Gut punch by Tim, 11th round.
When do you think that Tony should go over there? I'm guessing he should be getting ready to travel now.
He should be on the plane now. I'd be on the plane now.
I'm guessing probably 3 weeks before the fight, he's going to be over there. Maybe next week he's going to travel over.
He should, because remember, it's still summer in Australia, and Sydney is bloody hot this time of year. Not extremely hot. It's at the arse end of summer. It's coming into autumn or the fall, whatever you like to call it. So I would be getting over here because you've got to acclimatise. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be getting over here straight away.
Yeah. So because we're in the dead of winter over here in the States, and he's in Detroit. It's cold as shit.
Yeah, it'd be fucking freezing where he is.
Freezing.
Where here in Sydney, it would still be packing 30. Well, what's 30 degrees in bloody Fahrenheit? I don't freaking know. 90 degrees or something. So,
no, yeah, about about 80, 85. Give or take.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So you guys are in summer over there. Is it the middle of summer, smack dab? It's summertime, the hottest of the year.
Yeah, well, sometimes February can be relatively hot, but I've never lived in Sydney, but I don't know, because at the moment I'm in Melbourne and it's freezing fucking cold. But in Sydney, I'd say, there'd be about 30-degree days on average, and going into autumn, by the time the fight rocks around, it'll probably be around 25 degrees on average. Whatever that is in Fahrenheit, I don't know the figures.
Well, in reality, the fight is what? Just a little tiny bit over a month away. So he's got to get over there soon. He's got to, as we talked about, acclimate, and obviously he's gonna have media engagements because it's gonna be a main event pay-per-view. $60 for you guys over there in Australia.
Yeah, pretty much that's right. Yeah, he needs to get over here ASAP. Yeah. So have some sparring. I'm happy. I'm happy that Tim's got this fight. It's going to be a fantastic event. I'm interested to see how it's going to go for crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ballsy move by No Limit to go up against the footy, full well knowing they're going up against the football. So
yeah, of course
that's a ballsy move. Yeah.
So do you think this is going to be Tim Tszyu's biggest pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah, this will be his coming out fight because No Limit will flog the guts out of this. Sorry?
Bigger than Jeff Horn pay-per-view?
No, that was more like a Jeff Horn pay-per-view. They said that
but that was still a big fight. Do you think that Tony... Let me rephrase the question. Do you think that Tszyu versus Harrison is going to be financially the biggest fight of Tim Tszyu's career?
Nah, because I think the Jeff Horn fight would still be bigger. But this will be Tim Tszyu's biggest fight where he's the A side.
Gotcha.
That I believe.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because the selling point of the Horn Tszyu fight was Jeff, not Tim. Now it's Tim. Is the selling point.
Got you. All right.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
Yeah. Timmy by a gut shot in the 11th. So.
All right. We're going to see. All right. I'm going to let you go, Big J. We'll talk about this later on. And I'm guessing the next time we'll be back talking about the fight will be if they have a sit down, Tony Harrison would have to be over there. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's going to be, kind of like they did with Zarafa.
Yeah, they'll have a sit down for sure.
And talk about the fight. All right, and I'm guessing since the fight is just a little over a month away, that's going to be coming up soon. So with that being said, I'm going to let Big J go. At the bottom of the screen, as you can see, you can follow Big J on Twitter at OldMateBigJ. OldMateBigJ on Twitter. You can follow me at TstreeT Controversy. We're going to let Big J go. Take a time out and like the video and subscribe. And definitely, this is a very significant fight, especially if Tim Tszyu loses. We are going to be here during fight week, covering the fight. All right, Big J, let me letting you go. All right, guys. I got a lot of shit to do. I am going to be covering the Ray Vargas Foster fight this weekend. Mario Barrios is on the card. And Big J, as you guys are normally hearing him, I thought he was going to say that Tim Tszyu was going to lose. But he's rooting for Tim Tszyu. It happens. With that being said, I'm going to see you guys later. We have a lot of media shit going on this week. For example, Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin, their press conference is going to be on Thursday morning. So I'm putting together like the schedule for everything. And, I got to contact the WBC, like Vive Network, like Jesus, I'm back full time with boxing. So I'm still trying to put everything together. With that being said, let me get up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.